Hello, everybody. I am Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, and I am back with another reaction to a first-time watch of an episode of Doctor Who, namely the episode KIDNAP, which is the fifth part, the penultimate part of the six-part serial, The Sensorites. So, quick reminder that I appreciate feedback at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com, or alternatively, you can just leave comments here on the YouTube channel. I would also encourage you to check out the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike, the audio podcast that my wife and I, Hannah, do, where we go back and rewatch some old TV shows and movie franchises, mainly of the cult genre persuasion. Also, I do some live music performance reactions on this channel as well, so please go and check out all of those things. But for now, we are watching Doctor Who, what will I think in my first time watch here in 2024 of the penultimate part of the Sensorites. So let's watch that now and find out.
Deadly nightshade.
Great lighting. The director's really making the most of Hartnell's face here. You can see him thinking. It's what he does. It's what Hartnell does.
What is it, Ian?
You have no conception of what extreme sound does to us. It stuns the brain and paralyzes the nerves.
And in the darkness, we are helpless anyway.
Sci-fi idea.
Will be more of a hindrance.
Although the Sensorites, I mean, Sensorites the right name. They just can't handle their sensory challenge. But I guess also, I mean, if you were to place a modern analogy on this, we are much more sensitive now in the 21st century to people who maybe struggle in certain sensory environments. We do see supermarkets opening early so people can go in who struggle with crowds and volume and the chaos that goes with the modern world. So I understand that, but I do like the idea of these monstrous appearing creatures who are actually quite delicate by our human values standards. That's a pretty sophisticated, transgressive idea for 1964.
For the friend who has been returned to you. Scientist.
Life gives you lemons.
You will report to me on your progress.
I will, sir.
Otherwise, I might have been in a much worse state than I was.
We didn't get the antidote. I had to go all the way back to the laboratory and get some more.
What?
Yes, surrounded by enemies.
It's true. And now it appears that there's someone among the Sensorites.
You see, exposition can be so lifeless. That's why it's wonderful when you have people like William Shatner or William Hartnell. Something about the Williams here, I guess, who really can breathe life into that. And I think sometimes modern audiences make the mistake of mocking that the feeling is, in some ways, it's poor judgment or it's overly telegraphing. But the fact that not only was the viewing experience, the physicality of the viewing experience of television in the 1960s extremely different than the home cinema, the high-definition home cinema experience that we have now, of course. It was the fact that they had to rely more on exposition. They had to tell, not show, because we were closer to television being kind of a glorified radio play or stage play. So you needed people with a little bit of vim and a bit of personality, and that crucially, those open-faced actors who could breathe life into dialogue and really make it come alive. And I think people like Shatner and Hartnell were incredible at that. And Hartnell, in particular, can convey a huge amount facially. And you're really seeing it here in this episode, front and center. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm enjoying this serial, a little bit more than I think many people do, from what I've heard.
That bears ill will. That's two separate enemies.
All are contented.
Some people always want more than others.
That is a human value, surely.
Perhaps. Rest quiet for now, John. It won't be
Star
long.
Trek will do some of this stuff in a few years' time.
That is what happened to the man John, but the veil will not lower itself. Thus he is constantly afraid, even when he's at peace, when he's asleep, for example. The body says one thing, the brain the other. Thus his condition, utter confusion.
Good job,
And
he
this
was sexually
treatment you're
aroused
giving
when
him
that
is in
happened.
order to close down that veil.
See all the time is not a good thing. Now, we must begin.
Philosophical science fiction
I'll be
concepts
here
at
all
play
the
here.
time, John.
I heard them talking. They are suspicious. The creature, John.
Somebody pointed out there are a lot of flubs in this episode, and everyone's getting in on the action as well. It's kind of part of the charm, and I've said before about how these don't bother me because I completely understand how they occur. And I'm surprised, and it's a testimony to the show, they don't happen more. But it's kind of part of the fun of watching the show. And a little bit like how I am with Star Trek, I feel like I've bonded with Doctor Who enough that I feel like I'm kind of allowed to a little bit. But I get annoyed if other people did. It's the whole, we can make fun of other family members, but you guys can't kind of thing. So, yeah, it's an enjoyable part of the experience, I've got to say, you know. And I don't say that condescendingly.
Is nearly cured. I should imprison you in some room wherein no light can shine, and fill that room with noise.
It's quite a threat to a Sensorite, that is.
Very well.
What a bully.
I shall be listening. That is enough.
Those sort of communication pendant things, that's a really cool little visual sci-fi idea, you know, like the flip communicators or something like that. It makes sense. You understand what's happening when you watch it as an audience member, and I like that.
You, sir? Sir, I'd like a word with
Good
you.
day, sir.
It's a funny place down here, isn't it?
What about up there? I wonder how Barbara's getting on.
I wish you were down here with us.
I wish we were up there in the TARDIS and away from here. Still, I know what you mean. Hey, why don't we ask the First Elder if Barbara can come down and join us here?
Yes!
You most extraordinary ran away from me.
That must have looked funny. Flip, flap,
I can assure you he was very mobile, my child. Come along, let's get him to the First Elder's room. By my second elder, my advisor. And he has since disappeared.
Well, we saw him in the courtyard.
His behavior is a mystery. Yes, strange indeed, sir. I tried to talk to him and he ran away.
Yes. You still won't accept that he's done something bad.
I cannot. I selected him for office. But it is not pride which makes me defend my choice. I know that Sensorite. I trust him.
And yet you can't explain his actions.
A mystery does not mean that he is guilty. For the doctor. Ah, yes, sir, that's most...
High-octane action sequence here.
Then I will outline my plan to you.
Yes, I have asked questions. The first supply of the antidote you sent, Doctor,
Deception
was
afoot.
intercepted. Several of you. I ruined my jacket down in the aqueduct. But of course I have others on my ship. Thank you.
Very smart.
Beau Brummel always said I look better in a cloak.
I love it. And he does. That's a great Doctor Who look, that is.
A story has been put before me that you should hear.
I love the kind of the moments of jolliness that we have now that there's an easier camaraderie between our principal actors. Well, things are actually going our gang's way for a
Sir,
change.
you must forgive his wild accusation.
Oh, you were going to ask about Barbara.
I don't think this is quite the moment. I'll ask later.
All right.
Barbara on holiday?
Exactly.
Yes,
what-
it must have been the Sensorite who has just died.
Yes. I suppose it must.
What a crazy
The
random
First Elder
happenstance.
wishes to talk to the doctor. You will inform him.
All right.
He's not very friendly.
Well, he's only just become second elder. I should think he's trying out his new authority.
I wouldn't like to cross him.
What about him?
John, you know you said there was something odd about the Sensorite. But was it his collar?
Collar, yes. That was it.
You see, the city had...
God, it's like trying to play, you know, the game where you put a ball in a cup and you move them around. It's kind of like Spot the Sensorite, isn't it, this one? It's getting on the old blower.
Making progress.
Barbara.
But they will be hopelessly lost as well.
Certainly setting
Very
up an
simple to
exciting
use, Doctor.
climax.
Careful.
The range is considerable. The ray paralyzes up to a distance of 30 yards.
Yes, splendid. And remember, dear boy, that I shall be standing nearly next to you. I've never liked weapons at any time, however they're handy little things. She's bound to want to come with us.
I don't think she ought to, Doctor.
No, I quite agree with you, my boy. We must go and not
She's
tell her.
bound to get
and
captured.
save any arguments. I wonder, sir, would you mind keeping a small secret until we're well and truly away? Very well. Yes, thank you. After all, there's no danger now. We have these protectors. And I'm sure we can settle our little business
Right.
in an hour or two. Ah. The map of the aqueduct. Oh, excellent, my dear sir.
Well,
Yes.
let's go and make an end of it, Doctor.
Now you're quite sure you're up to it.
Quite.
Splendid. Lead the way. Sir.
They are brave people, sir.
going on with the water. Next episode, A Desperate Venture. I really enjoyed that episode. There's a kind of playful energy here. I mean, it's not flawless. Like I say, it's a very written episode. You know, it's a very on the page episode. There's lots of shenanigans, lots of deception from the race of the serial. But I do think that they are an interesting culture, and there's enough difference between them and the previous guest races, I guess, that we've had in the past to keep you engaged as an audience member. And there's some really nice design elements, but really just the energy of the performances. There's no Barbara this week. I'm guessing the actress was on holiday. But, you know, if a doctor's got a cape, I hope that stays. You know, that's another thing for more bits of business from Hartnell. Hartnell's great on this episode. Quite flub heavy, this episode, but, you know, that it is what it is. And, yeah, I'm kind of enjoying the energy on this one. And although it's a 6-parter, it doesn't feel like it's like too much, considering how exposition heavy the episode's been. I think just the liveliness of the performance and the banter and the kind of gleefulness of a lot of the performances. You know, Susan's gets some fun stuff in this episode, and Ian and the Doctor have some banter. So I'm enjoying the Sensorites. It's mid-tier, but it's fine. So yeah, join me next time for the final part of the Sensorites, and a quick reminder that I appreciate feedback. Also check out the audio podcast, The Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike, and please do leave comments on the YouTube channel because I love learning more about Doctor Who and communicating with you, the Doctor Who fans. So I'll be back very soon with the final part of the Sensorites. Thank you.